Hello?
So, thanks to everyone
Why
who's
is this
so
not
far.
live? I am hitting stream.
Thanks for hanging out, even though my stream is kind of I had some issues, and uh,
All right. Okay, I
some
am
issues,
live.
and
It's weird. Obviously, I was watching the channel. All right. It's always a rough start. I'm looking at the screen here. I'm streaming from my hotel room off my lap, my Mac. And I rarely stream off the Mac. And I had just installed everything recently because I was having issues with what's the software that basically keeps track of all your files across all your computers? But basically, it was filling up every computer I had to the brim in terms of storage, slowing them all down. It just couldn't help itself, and so I basically just wiped my laptop. Realized I didn't have OBS installed. I didn't have Logitech webcam controllers installed, so I could control the focus. So I've been working on it for about half an hour. I finally got the hang of it, but I don't have the chat window and good things like that. But you know what? I'm not going to waste any more time. I'll just get right to it. Let's just start drawing. But first, I need to find this thing. It's been a while, so I figured there'll be a lot of catching up to do here. First off, let me just say it's been too long, so missed you guys. It's good to be back. It's a special afternoon stream. It's 4:15 here on the East Coast. Having a little frappuccino here. All right, so thank you, Cynthia Yip, for the cheer. Got tickets to Fan Expo Boston, and yes, I will be there. I've got a bunch of events coming up, so I will get to those shortly. Janella has cheered from the Philippines. Thank you very much. Big Boss has resubscribed. Congrats on your promotion. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Speed Fresh has resubscribed. Darcia33 has cheered. Brief tutorial on how to do hair. If I draw a character with hair, I'll slow down a little bit and kind of mention it. Thank you, Kirihiko, for the host. I apologize if I barged into your stream schedule by moving mine back, but I was having a hard time waking up in the mornings. I think we got up today at 11 o'clock in the morning. It still felt too early. Obviously, still on West Coast time. Risky Business has resubscribed. Wildstorm CCG. J for Jules, Flabba La Paca, Extinction Agent, Vaca Loca 23, Lone Legionary, Urarua have all subscribed. And Bat Wards 55. That's 15 hours ago, so I'm not going to go back too much further than that. There's a lot of activity happening right now. We've got Schmutzli, we've got El Gritty, Beliasa, Desert Rose, a bunch of regulars there resubscribing. Thank you very much. The Immortal Z-Man has hosted, The Villain as well. Michael DeMurgis has resubscribed 10 months running. Thank you for the long-time support. 10 months being the most amount of time. We are going to do something for the anniversary, which is coming up at the end of August. Got to figure something out. D. Calvin, also thank you very much. Appreciate it. So, all right, we are back. I don't have a camera on me because I'm trying to not overtax the hotel Wi-Fi. It's unfortunately on Wi-Fi, but the upload speed was really good, so I feel confident about this. First off, if there's anyone from the Deutschland here, let me just say, good game, good game. That's all I have to say. GG, GG, rip. Anyway, what are we going on? Janella has cheered. Draw Spider-Man, tribute to Steve Ditko. Didn't you just say draw Batman? We got Stone Cold Snake cheering as well. Thank you very much. Jeremy L. Joe has resubscribed as well. Shake and Bake 230 and CTC Firebird. Um, let's see. I will not be live streaming at San Diego Comic Con. There might be some other smaller conventions, but San Diego is just the busiest show of the year. Ignite Comics as well. Hey now, and so that is difficult. So I'm going to. I think I think I'm going to do a Ditko character. Mutant Molds. My morals has cheered. As Will Bruce Art, Will Bruce Art as well. Thank you very much, both of you guys, for your support. I think I'm gonna do a DC one though. We got the Creeper, we've got Blue Beetle, Captain Atom, Hawk and Dove, the Question. The Question would be kind of cool. Um, all right, I'm gonna do the Question, and he doesn't have hair, but he does have a hat, and a hat is important because we could do a tutorial about hats, trench coats. The Question's always been a guy that's just kind of stood there. I wonder if there's something else I can do. Make sure. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit on this. Now, mind you, I've already zoomed in quite a bit, so the more I zoom in, the shakier it gets. Never mind. It's gonna get more and more out of focus. Nothing compares to the home setup, but obviously, I'm here in New York City. This trip falls under family time. Oh, it's reversed too. That's fun. So it's not optimal. Um, so there are trips that you do for yourself, trips you do for your family, trips you do for business. This would definitely be a trip. We have one of our kids graduated from high school, so we wanted to do something to sort of celebrate. And we also have two kids here in the city that go to school here, live here, and their birthdays in July. So we were doing a bunch of stuff, celebrating people's birthdays, celebrating graduation, doing stuff in the city here that kids like to do. So one of which was Jeremy L. Joe. You got that. I haven't drawn in a while either. Jeez. We saw Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And let me tell you, I'm not even that big of a Harry Potter fan, in that, I don't know all the details. I saw all the movies, of course. But this play, let me tell you, it is amazing. It blew my mind. I mean, I saw Hamilton recently, and I thought that was amazing. I can't even compare the two. They're apples and oranges. One's musical, one's a play. But the level of acting and the special effects, and I thought, like, oh my God, it's two plays. They're 2.5 hours each. You could watch them on separate days or watch them back to back. We chose to watch them back to back, which had enough time for, a short dinner. I think we started at 2 o'clock and ended at 5:30, and then 7:30 to 10 o'clock at night. And it was. Yeah, let me turn this down. The time Turner effect. Yes. I actually don't even know how they did it. There's stuff in there I couldn't even figure out how it was being done. So, Jester X has subscribed. Bamfart has resubscribed. We love you, man. You've drawn Wolverine, you've drawn Batman. Will we ever see Dark Claw? Probably not. Queen City Amusement says cheered. Charlie Yap 7 has cheered. Wolf Seal, Scribbles Alex, all supporting the channel. Eric Webb with 3 viewers that they are hosting. So let me just say, first up, an amazing show. If you can get tickets, highly, highly recommended. And even if you're not that big in the lore, you don't really even have to have known too much. The play is self-explanatory. You understand it, especially if you're a parent or a kid, and you're probably one or the other, or both. It has some themes that are pretty universal, I thought, and more universal than the movies actually. So it was kind of interesting. All right, let me just. It's been a while since I've drawn, so this is a good character to start with because he's essentially a character with no face. But doing this in honor of Steve Ditko, which I'll talk a little bit about, as I posted on Instagram. I did get introduced to him once. I was at Marvel in the early days, and I was just like hanging out in the hallways. If I had to guess when it was, I want to say 80, 89, 1990, early 1990, right? Before Image, of course. And there was a time when I was subletting an apartment off of Union Square, Irving Place, actually. And I would go into the Marvel offices like once or twice a week. And I was just like hanging out with one of the editors, assistant editors or somebody. And they just kind of looked at a guy, and then kind of looked at me, and then kind of said, "Oh, hey," and they just kind of introduced me to Steve Ditko. And Steve was just standing there with like his raincoat folded over his arm and his briefcase there to the side. And I don't know what he was doing there. I don't know what I was. I just remember meeting him, and we exchanged a few words. And I was like, "Hey, oh my God, Steve!" I wasn't trying to. I was trying not to fanboy too much, but obviously told him, how amazing it was, and that's probably not the best adjective to use. But anyway. And he was just very unassuming. He just really was like, "Oh, okay, all right, thanks." He really, obviously, he knew nothing about, you know, the next generation artists. He was just doing his work, right? I did see in the Discord channel, some of you guys, I think Buchen Red, had actually gone to his apartment. If you guys go to the Discord channel, that's setup that the mods here had set up with this kind of bolsters and fills in a lot of the gaps on this live stream. It's just a messaging platform where people can kind of communicate with one another. He put up some interesting photos. At the last one, it seemed like you kind of knocked on the door, and Steve Ditko was kind of waving you off, saying, "Get out of get off my, get off my yard, you pesky kids," or whatever. But it looked like his was not a hard guy to find, in that his name was just like right there on his door. But a very unusual creator in that he really didn't seek the limelight. Obviously, multiple people had tried to get him on camera for interviews, or even just sit down for interviews and just talk about the early days of Marvel. Obviously, he was co-creator of Spider-Man, and I think I said in my post, he really was like sort of the other pillar of artistic talent that kind of drove Marvel. I mean, you had Jack Kirby, who was so singular and powerful and ubiquitous, and he was just so he was just so fast and prolific that his style really kind of came to dominate and define the Marvel look. But on the other hand, you had Steve, who was more of a peculiar kind of taste. It was like quirkier. That's the word I use. And someone took some umbrage with that. I'm like, I don't know why you would. I mean, his stuff had a quirkiness to it, like the way his hands would kind of do this and like this, and a lot of interesting kind of poses. And it played really well into a character like Spider-Man because Spider-Man is not about Kirby power. In fact, whenever Kirby drew Spider-Man, it looked off. You know, Kirby was all about Thor and the Hulk, and Steve was about characters like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and Blue Beetle and the Question and Creeper, and these were typically more svelte, thinner characters. And so even as I draw this Question, I have to kind of slim him down a little bit. And a lot of them, like Mr. A and some of these other things that he created, really kind of played. He was a very big, from what I understand, he was really big into Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand is a author, philosopher. She wrote The Fountainhead, Atlas Shrugged, her two main books. I've read The Fountainhead, and it's all about the artist as the singular driving force of creation and how artists really need to be true to themselves and never allow themselves to be tarnished or compromised by others' mediocrity or love or any sort of influence that would take away from the creation of art and their vision. And a lot of his characters, my understanding is that was kind of his own personal beliefs. And anyway, so there was a letter that someone shared on the Discord thing, and it was just the answer. It's like, "Hey Brian, thank you, but your questions were irreverent or irrelevant," you know. And I don't know what the questions were, but I think the questions were like, "How do I become better as a drawer or artist or something?" I think he was basically trying to say his version of just draw. That's what I took out of it. This was basically saying all the answers you need in the libraries and in books. You don't like whatever questions you asked has nothing to do with learning how to draw. Something like that. That's what I got out of it. I should kind of play into that philosophy. And then there was another thing that kind of just played into this just draw. And let me see if I can find this and then post it. I thought it was pretty funny. It was, I don't know if a lot of you guys saw it, but okay, here we go. Um, the one I'm looking for had David Mack. All right, let me see if I can find this because I want to basically link to it. Oh, here it is. All right. I want to. Sorry. I want to link to the actual image as posted on Twitter, and everything I'm finding is a link to something that. Sure, I'll link to it. So here it is. See if that works. And in it, here the Neil Gaiman's 8 rules for drawing. Oh, and here's my, first off, very quick tutorial on hats. All right, if you're going to do a hat, here's the large version of it. You draw your head, and I think I said this before. The hat has to sit on the head, otherwise it would come down over the eyes of the hat. Right? So it can't be any wider than this and this, because if it were too wide, and some people make that mistake, they don't know how wide to make the hat would fall further. So it can be, in fact, it has to be a little narrower than that gap there. So you put the top part of the hat first, right? And then you take the brim, and the brim comes down like that. It's just like kind of a saggy shape, and you just kind of line it up like that. If you want to put the back of it like Indiana Jones. All right, there's your hat. So if you're drawing the question, Indiana Jones, the Green Hornet, the Shadow, any of those fellas. Okay, so the rules are Neil Gaiman's rules for writing. One, write. I think honestly it should be one rule of writing. That's it. I don't know why he puts more, but anyway. Number 2, put one word after another. Find the right word, put it down. Okay, that's rule number 2. And number 3, finish what you're writing. Whatever you have to do to finish it, finish it. So I think 1, 2, and 3 all basically are the equivalent of just draw. But writers like to write. They like to embellish. They like to use more words. Artists are very succinct. Anyway. 4, put it aside, read it, pretending you've never read it before. Show it to friends whose opinion you respect and who like the kind of thing that this is. Yeah, that's something to do. I don't know if that's a rule for writing, but yeah, that's good. 5, remember, when people tell you something's wrong or doesn't work for them, they're almost always right. When they tell you exactly what they think is wrong and how to fix it, they are almost always wrong. Love it. 6, fix it. Remember that sooner or later, before it ever reaches perfection, you have to let it go and move on and start to write the next thing. Perfection is like changing the horizon. Keep moving. Yes, I agree. Same for drawing. Erase, fix. There's no harm in doing that. 7, laugh at your own jokes. Right? So don't take yourself too seriously. And 8, the main rule of writing is that if you do it with enough assurance and confidence, you're allowed to do whatever you like. That may be a rule for life as well. It's also definitely true for writing. So write your story as it needs to be written. Write it honestly and tell it as best you can. I'm sure there are others. I'm sure there are other rules, not ones that matter. So anyway, I just thought it was to the point. I love that there were 8 of them, but the main ones I think were essentially just right. All right, so we've got Angry Panda with a cheer. King Mongoose has subscribed. Shake and Bake has subscribed using Prime. Superhero Swimmer Art has cheered. Didn't know you stream on Twitch. Thank you very much, Superhero Swimmer Art. Hope we had a good 4th. I hope you had a good 4th. I hope all you guys had a good 4th. A lot of times passed. Ghostwriter 27595 has resubscribed. You're an inspiration to me and many others. You're awesome. Keep up the good work. Please draw Mr. Miracle. Tim Art Peterson, great to have you back. I'd love to see a Rogozara sketch. I've been loving the development of this character in Man of Steel. Yeah, I think Brian Bendis has been killing it. Keaton Hubbard has resubscribed. Keaton Hubbard 123. Francis Manipul has rated with a party of 18. Thank you very much, Francis Manipul. Sorry I missed that. I was too busy just rambling on. So, for those of you who don't know, Francis Manipul, very talented comic book artist, also on Twitch. You should maybe subscribe to follow him, subscribe to his channel if you support it. And I'll do a quick tutorial on collars. I think I've done this before as well. Draw your neck. Okay. The collar has to come from a little bit above where this neck meets the shoulder. But it has to come down so people don't get, the collar doesn't choke them. Alright, and you can make this very thin, this point up here. I draw the collar first, and then the tie kind of just tucks in there. And then the jacket comes from this point right here, this intersection. And that's how you do that. If you want to do a couple wrinkles, what have you. Okay. Funny Bob 85. has resubscribed. Love following you since day one, I presume. Abetus has cheered. Dire Raven 2018 has resubscribed, as has King Franchise 88. I feel like we're going back in time a little bit. This stream is reminiscent of one of my early streams when I used to use inferior equipment and technology. When's the next? I will definitely be back in studio this weekend. I am home. This will be the weekend before San Diego Comic Con. The thing about trench coats, they're just like curtains. They have to hang down, right? The highest point that kind of juts out, right? The drapes kind of fall, right? If you think about this as like a drape, and he's got his gloves. I don't like this hat though. I want it to be lower on the head. Like he's kind of looking down. Like his eyes are looking just underneath the brim at us. Of course, the question has no eyes, so it's hard to draw that. So really the only way I can kind of imply that is by bringing that brim down. Maybe drop in a shadow there. You know, it's funny, talk about how all these things are kind of coinciding, you know, between Neil Gaiman's 8 Rules of Writing and what Ditko wrote in that letter, and the fact that I'm drawing the question, and I'm drawing a face with no nose, and I think of Voldemort from Harry Potter's play. Very interesting. Oh, Kirihiko, yes, no eyes, for sure. I should say TM Kirihiko. $22 vanilla cupcakes. How do I know when it's time to resubscribe? I think it gives you a notice, right? Actually, I don't know. Red Elephant, I am feeling better mentally, I guess. Hey, Ink One, how are you doing? My shoulder's still messed up. I can't really reach up very high. Can't reach up a little higher than my shoulder. The results of my MRI, I've got like these small labral tears in my muscles. So I've got to go meet with the doctor again, figure out they're either gonna, well, it would either be arthroscopic surgery or it would be physical therapy, and I'm gonna do the physical therapy as the surgery is not 100% effective, and the recovery time on that can be 4 to 6 months, which would be no good for me. Anyway, J4 Jules has cheered. Thank you very much. Best fedoras and trench coats in the business. Okay. I feel like he should be doing something. Otherwise, he's just got his hands, you know, off to the side. And I could put his hand in his trench coat. Like flipping a coin or something. I'm just going to have it where his arm is in the side trench coat like that. And I've done a sketch like this before, which might be online so you can kind of see where I'm getting at. Ask Charlie App. Ask your doctor if you can use a stim machine. It helps a ton of with the pain and discomfort, similar to what they have you do in PT. MJ alum too. Checking the time on his Rolex. Thank you for trying to help me out with that search, but been looking for this Pepsi stainless steel Rolex. No avail. All right, let's start inking this. Giovanni Sanguelli. Thanks for the cheer, man. Thanks for the very generous cheer. What's up, Jim? I'm watching from my vacation in Jamaica. Lucky you. Also, do not do surgery, do the therapy. I've done surgery on one, rehab the other. Rehab is way better. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking. You've activated football giveaway for 45 others and to get football emotes. Oh, that's pretty cool. You can buy those stim devices at Walgreens. I got one. It fools the nerves into ignoring the pain, is how my doc described it. Interesting. I will definitely. Sangili. All right, thank you very much. Giovanni Sangili. I will definitely look into that. I did the MRI. I was like, and since then, it's gotten worse to the point where just applying pressure. So there's things I could do before, like driving, and now that's even starting to get a little painful. So it's very tender, and I think it's injury from traveling, which is even sadder. You know, it's bad when you start getting injured from like sleeping or like stretching or something. I'm definitely trying to do a sort of a slimmer version of a build again to tie into the whole Ditko physique. Question, definitely one of the creepier characters visually. And definitely served as the inspiration for Rorschach. And then the sort of the ache I have in my shoulder is kind of moved down. It's kind of now in the ball of my shoulder, and then even kind of right in this area right here in the bicep. So, and I think that's because I'm starting to compensate for the weakness in that muscle. I've got like muscles in my back now are sore, and it's just weird, the whole body, the way you have lots of little muscles that might not necessarily do anything, but if one is taxed and you're kind of favoring one muscle, it actually kind of taxes new muscles, and the whole ecosystem gets kind of thrown out of whack. Give him some kind of narrow slacks here. And then, of course, dress shoes. Thinking loafers, though. I don't think. Well, maybe the question would wear shoes that you had a tie. Kind of like that, maybe. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and give him. So I feel at some point he'll end up in jail or something, and he'll be able to take the shoelaces off his shoes and then use them to break free or do something. All right? Give him something like that. Bunny slippers for the question. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Jester X. Hey Jim, if Slim figures like Spider-Man were Kirby's weakness, I don't know if it was weakness per se. It's just like, what is my weakness? I'll tell you. I have one. I have many weaknesses. So my favorite artist growing up was Neil Adams, but Neil Adams to me could not draw like characters like the Hulk, because I mean he could draw the Hulk, but it looked like what the Hulk would look like if it was a real human being, the way he would kind of break him down. The Hulk and Thing to me are like monsters, and monsters work best as silhouetted images. And kind of like the way Mignola would approach it, you just draw a starfish and then you fill in the muscles after the fact. So you draw the silhouette, then put in the muscles. And you don't take a regular human and just make the muscles bigger, right? The Hulk should be stout and short. And so Kirby, on the other hand, could do powerful characters, but he couldn't do really, I guess, more svelte, slimmer characters that didn't have the grandiose kind of, you know, posturing. And although he could definitely do graceful, I'm not saying he can't do graceful, like the Silver Surfer and his, but the best Silver Surfer, in my opinion, was John Buscema, and that was, John Buscema was all about power and grace. Kirby's all about power and majesty. Neil Adams is all about realism and foreshortening and naturalism. And Ditko to me was about, I don't know, it was quirky. It was quirky and naturalistic. It's not that he couldn't do power. There's shots, obviously, of Spider-Man kind of lifting up underneath that rubble. So there's some very classic kind of powerful Spider-Man scenes. But to me, the classic the classic Ditko shot is of sort of him, Doctor Strange kind of falling, kind of half off balance with his arms out, you know, casting spells. His stuff was zany and weird and very, very eclectic. It was very much singularly his visual vocabulary that he was, his sort of visual lexicon that he was building up. Whereas Kirby Crackle and that was sort of adopted by a number of different artists. The Kirby stances, the power, it was all kind of appropriated by others as they kind of helped define the Marvel Universe. I'm trying to think of people that really kind of emulated the Ditko style. I mean, all right, so we're going to talk about orthodontics. Oh, so my weaknesses. I don't do a lot of quiet scenes very well. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about people just kind of Garcia Lopez to me was a guy that could have a character weeping. There was a shot I saw on Instagram, a character kind of looking very haunty, and just sort of regal, and she was sort of lording over another female character that was kind of on her knees, and just she had her arms out, and she had, with her head thrown back or down. I can't remember. She was crying her heart out. That's a really tough thing to draw and do it well and have it look like it fit into the rest of whatever you draw. So it's not about just drawing one thing. It's about making it look like it could still exist in the world of everything else that you're creating. So like, Neil Adams' Hulk always kind of stood out to me because it was so un-Hulk-like in a world where everyone looks very real. Oh. Cyodex, discussing the pros and cons of chiropractic. I have not ever had a chiro practitioner work on me. So I'm kind of be hesitant to do at this point. I'm going to just go the physical therapy route and just hope that the scar tissue builds up in the shoulder and still permits me some degree of mobility and grows in the right way. And that's sort of what I've been told from some masseuses and PT experts already, is that scar tissue, it will heal, scar tissue will form in there, but the whole trick is trying to get it to work the right way. I bought some KT tape, might be using that, some ice packs, all that stuff. Anyway. I'm looking for I'm looking for some Kleenex here. Here we go. So I can do the background on this piece. But first, let me get a brush. Okay. Let's put the shadows in the right places, shall we? So yeah, there's been a bunch of a lot of travel recently. What do I have coming up here? I have a weekend at home, and then we have the nuttiness of San Diego Comic Con. I think some of you guys are asking if there'll be any meetups. If there are any, they're going to be organized locally by yourselves. The show is definitely the busiest for me, so it's a little crazy. We did something at WonderCon, but WonderCon is it's actually a much more manageable show in terms of the crowds and other activities. There's a lot of other stuff that's going on at this show. And I think after that, I've got Palm Springs doing that Comic Con. And then Boston Comic Con, which I have not been back to Boston in many years. That would be very cool. Just there for a day though, and then I come back home and I'm on the road again, driving to Dallas. Then back home. I think. Wait, when is Palm Springs? I think Palm Springs is at the end of August, or is it the end of September? At this point, it's getting super blurry, so I have to apologize. End of August, yeah. There you go, Ren. Sorry. So I don't know if I have anything at the end of July. I feel like I've got something. Is that a JFK joke? Chunk style 30-30? That's old school joke. Okay, now I've got some personal trips going on the weekend after San Diego. Got it. Anyway. Curtis War has cheered. Thank you very much. Tim R. Peterson. Love the piece you inked for Scott Williams. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun doing something like that. Giovanni says, is it possible to hire you to be a keynote speaker for our marketing con in March? I don't do a lot of those events, to be honest. So my inclination and all that stuff has to be approved by DC. If I were strictly freelance, it'd be one issue, but yeah, I think it's going to be difficult, especially with the new responsibilities. I've been asked to I do get asked. To speak at different events, tech conferences, stuff like that. It's not even finding the time at this point. I think it's just, well, maybe it is about finding the time. I don't know, it's finding permission, I guess. Not so much permission. Let me think about that. Let me rephrase it. I think they're always looking for how does this benefit sort of my role at DC, I think. Right? That makes any sense. There's lots of things you can do that benefit you, but if you're an employee of a company, they want you to do what has mutual benefit for both the company and themselves, I guess. And my question, is aside from the honor, I guess, of doing these kinds of events, the prestige, I guess, how does that promote DC or myself or whatever else that I have going on? Without overanalyzing it too much, I guess. All right. I've got a lamp, I've got something that's right there at the top of this, so I have to lift it up to kind of be able to show you the bottom of it. Now I'm just kind of putting in some blacks into the background, trying to create a bit of a question mark. All right, if you can see that question mark here. And fully aware that I'm going over the lines, as it were, but I will use whiteout to kind of fix that. Okay. Then I could lightly erase some of the pencils I have here. In preparation for the whiteout. Let's see who we have here. We have our mods. I think Kirihiko I saw. Run Elephant. I don't know if we have Crispy Egg Roll. If anyone saw Crispy. I'm getting a little negligent in my hosting responsibilities. See a lot of regulars here. Wildstorm, CCG, Spider-Man 1963, Poop Kid. Crispy is dead. Hey Crispy. No, Crispy is dead. Hey Poop Kid. PK. Crispy is having his beauty sleep. Well, he is going to have to sleep for a long ass time. That's all I have to say. All right, Charlie App. Jim Lee isn't trapped in the stream with us. It's all of us trapped in the stream with Jim. Question or Shaq inspired joke. Good, interesting point. Trevor Kai. Looking forward to seeing you at San Diego Comic-Con. Loving the streams as always. Okiani has resubscribed. Great stream as always. Thank you very much. Mr. Coffee has resubscribed. Yeah, how many of you guys are going to welcome into the first live stream, The Villain? I appreciate you coming in. Paranoid has resubscribed. How many of you guys are going to San Diego Comic-Con? Lee Schnenk has resubscribed. Why is it possible to see you at San Diego Comic-Con without a lottery wristband? I don't, you know what? All this lottery stuff, I saw some of the activity on Discord as some of you guys were talking about it or chatting about it. I don't understand it. I think this is the first, I think they've done it before, certainly at San Diego or at WonderCon. But this will be the first time, I think, at San Diego where it's full on. Meaning, the way I remember it is that people went up to the pavilion underneath the sail, like early in the morning every day, and stood in line to see if they could get a ticket for a signing. And they did. even know what signing they would get a ticket for. But now I think it's all automated on an app, I believe, right? So it's a little trickier. Okay. Let that dry a little bit. We're going to fix that up a little bit more. And for some strange reason this year, I've got two drawing panels on the same day, like early afternoon, I think, or late morning and early evening, or late afternoon, something like that. So I got to figure out how I'm going to differentiate those two. If at all. Maybe it just gives you guys two chances in one day. I don't know. I think the only thing you can count on for San Diego is that you can't count on anything being a given. That's the only thing and that's a very question kind of thing to say, right? The only variable that you can count on is invariability or variability. Will Broussard, any aspiring tips for colorists? There's a ton of tutorials, I believe, online. I feel like there's definitely a way to learn at least the software for coloring, but then understanding kind of palette and value and color and how to approach it. That's harder to teach, right? That falls under eye category. You got the eye, or what kind of eye you have, I guess. What looks good to you? Color theory, yes. Color theory. So, even at the offices, editorially, we it's a challenge for us to talk about it in a meaningful way. Because like art, everyone kind of approaches it differently, right? We don't want it all look the same. But there have to be some ground rules, what we consider to be good or bad, I think. Certainly, maybe less so in the fine art world, but certainly in the commercial art world that we live in. We want to have some parameters, so that we can communicate and share with one another what works, doesn't work, what we like, don't like. Okay. Go a little darker here. Okay. Kind of taking things just more to black. Creates more drama and mystery. The eye fills in the rest. I would not recommend a Voss water bottle. It's got a liner, which is absorbing all my ink. The speed with the brush, that's because I was just kind of diving in. I was like, I don't know if that's where I want to go with this, but I was pot committed. I just went for it. Right? If I went slowly, I might have second thoughts, but I just went for it. I just like plopped in the shadows where I thought they should be, fully committed to it. Because I know that there's a moment here for the top part of the shoulders to cast a shadow on everything underneath it. Okay. And I also know you can always go back in with white out like that. If you wanted. I'm also just doing some very, very fine kind of tune-ups here at this point. So that's the question. If you can kind of see it all here. Majestic Novel has resubscribed. Thank you very much. Will there be a sub meetup for San Diego Comic Con? If there is, check out the Discord channel. It'd be something that you guys would organize. My guess, what I plan on doing is probably organizing something every WonderCon, just because that's an easier show for me to. it's local, but it's actually more local than San Diego at this point, and just fewer commitments on my part, so it's easier for me to kind of break away and do something. San Diego, there are literally some nights where I've got double or triple booked for like dinner events. So I just kind of go from event to event. Have an appetizer here, entree here, there, dessert at the end. Okay. All right, so that's done. Maybe you can give us tickets to your signings. I don't think there are tickets. I think it's all handled digitally. I don't even know when my signings are. You're presuming that I'm actually, you know, excuse me, understanding what's going on. So I'm going to take a picture of this. I'll give this rough away as well. So I'm just going to quickly take a picture of this question and pop it onto Discord so you guys can see it. Because this camera and the setup I have is not ideal for it. Okay, I'll pop that up into Discord. It's a little funky in the coloring, like part of it's gold because of the lighting here, and I've got natural light coming out over the side. Anyway. Okay. We have time for one more here, I think. What is it, 5:20? Probably do the next one. That'll probably be the giveaway, and then this will be a giveaway as well. And then I'm going to just do one that's going to be a silent auction here. Charlie App 7 has cheered. I try and work through different art books to force myself to draw things I wouldn't gravitate towards normally. Notably weaknesses. Currently working my way through George Bridgman's Constructive Anatomy. What's next? I don't know. I feel like there's enough variation. I would keep working at. You could. I think you could just work off of one book for years. Frankly, to be honest, mastering something as simple as even, well, something as complex as the human form can take a lifetime, right? So. Okay. Book and Red has called for this question to become Mr. A, so I'm going to see what I can do very quickly here. There we go. Okay. So got that guy. Bat7, greeting from Berlin, Germany. I'm a big fan. Greetings yourself, Bat7. 22 vanilla cupcakes. Did you go back for an art degree after the psych? No, I have just a degree in psychology, BA in psychology. So, um, all right, what are we going to do now? Left's boy has subscribed using Prime. Yeah, so if you guys are Amazon Prime members, you're given a complimentary Twitch Prime membership. It's a pretty cool feature for being an Amazon Prime member since Amazon owns Twitch. You can just subscribe and support whatever channel you want. So, um, I think I'm gonna do Draxarino. How you doing? Greetings from Germany. Got a bunch of people from Germany today. Awesome. Um, Darth Laurie has subscribed as well. Run Reigns has cheered. Pity83. Hey, Pity, how you doing, man? Big Boss 138. The psychology of taking our money with is art. You know, it's interesting. The whole concept of art, what we define as art, even money as a conceptual conceit, it's an interesting idea, right? It's created just so people used to barter with one another, right? And that got too complex. It just was easier to create money, so it's sort of a go-between, so we could all get what we wanted, right? Feel a little more warmed up. I've done covers here and there, but you're not doing depending on the cover, it doesn't fully kind of exercise the muscles you want exercised, I guess. It's Ballet Woman. I don't know what I'm doing. Just letting the so the gesture find the character. I don't know what character I'm drawing. I'm thinking I'm drawing Wonder Woman now. I started out drawing Supergirl. The sad thing is I feel every now and then a twinge in my shoulder. So whatever I've got, I just want to get it over with, man. There's nothing crappier than just feeling injured from doing normal everyday things. You know? Just being able to walk down the street without having to worry about favoring one side or the other. I don't know, man. I want to do something different with this Wonder Woman piece. And by different, I mean something with the lighting so that this arm is completely in shadow. All right. So this is kind of a lighting study exercise. All right. I feel like this could be even further pushed back in the back, made into a spear. Something like that. Thank you very much, Brendan Louise, 19. Uh, Joshua Flowers, 1979. Definitely. I've had surgery on both my shoulders. My right shoulder would roll in and out of socket. Super painful. That was over 10 years ago. I'm starting to have major issues again. I dread ever even going to the doctor and hearing that I might start this all over again. I agree, man. I feel for you. And that's weird because I've been pretty healthy most of my life. Really, just when I hit 50, well, it'll be 54 this year. So, obviously, I have my expiration date. Duck Helmet has resubscribed. Thank you very much. Try to imagine a witty comment here. Done. Extinction Agent. Viele Grüße aus Bayern. Ja, es tut mir leid, dass Deutschland verliert hat. Captain 12, 10 months is basically 10 years. Yes, it feels like it sometimes, right? Dave CF Perez has cheered as well. Thank you very much. Just old age, correct. Dorothy Laurie, I'm so thankful you extended your session, stopped at a Korean barbecue joint. Oh my God, amazing. That's what I had for lunch today, man. At Baekjong Barbecue here in New York City. The best, man. It was just phenomenal. I was stuffed, but I had to eat some more kalbi. It was just fantastic. It was so good. All right, here we go. Committed. Let's see what get out of here. I'm trying to do one side heavily in shadow. Drawing more or less with ink. I wish I had a blood pressure device hooked up to me. You could kind of see if I'd be curious to see if my blood pressure kind of spikes up and down, if at all, as I do these pieces. again, squeamish, but I feel like this whole other half here could be black. That's where it might eventually go. But I have to kind of, it's almost like a boxer that has to kind of put some jabs in before they kind of commit. In my head, I can kind of see all of this being black on this side here, because I want to cast this black kind of all the way down the length of her arm. Comic Art has cheered. I hope I can win the signing lottery at San Diego to get your autograph. Are you doing any off-site signings at San Diego Comic Con? I might, depending on my schedule, I might set up some sessions at my art dealer's table, Albert Moy, but we've just kind of preliminarily talked about it. Like I said, I don't even know what my schedule is at San Diego, so I don't know what I have in store just yet. How does this work here? I think they worked in another W motif. Here we go. Now I'm committed. Still hesitant about going all the way to full black there, but I'll stop there because it looks like I could maybe pull that off. Uh, Jay Scharf, when does the German portion of the stream start? Jim's Deutsch sorgt bei mir für ein warmes Gefühl im Inneren. Im Inneren. I get a good warm feeling inside when Jim's, well, thank you. Appreciate that. I don't know if you're actually German or if you're just Googling, translating that. Dr. Destructo has subscribed. So, as far as any offsite things, I would say check the Discord. I will post stuff if there's any sort of extra signings to be had outside of the ones at DC, if that makes any sense. Hopefully, it will be cool. It was super hot this weekend. I mean, it was like Las Vegas hot in LA, 120 degrees, something crazy like that. Funny thing is, when I started this, I was going to just slab in some black shadows here really hard, fast. And then as I got into it more, I've just been a little fussier with it. I'm thinking like smaller lines and shadows, things like that. I'm working with a 0.3, a 0.3 marker. Gives me a bit of a finer line. Today, here in New York City, it was gorgeous. Around 12. It started getting a little hot at 1-ish, but 11 in the morning, noon, it was awesome. Some of the best weather you possibly have here in the city. Duck helmet. Yeah, 0.5 is pretty thick. I'll use a 0.5 for something that, like a large piece of art, and I'm doing like the outline. Charlie App has cheered. Bought a new laptop to watch your streams on. My wife took my last computer. I don't know, sounds like you got the better end of the deal. Angry Panda has cheered as well. Janella, thank you guys for your support. Yeah, what's with all the Varmus Veta? I've heard something about this. Someone asked for a tutorial on hair. I guess I'm doing it. I should probably explain a bit more. I just closed my eyes when I was doing some of these lines because I wanted to feel as unplanned and uninformed by the other lines as much as possible. So sometimes you just kind of close your eyes and draw a hair stroke. So it looks like it truly was created by random chance rather than guided by my hand or guided by my hand as it informed by other lines near it. If that makes any sense. Okay. So it's kind of dark here in this joint. It's by design, so the idea would be I still might go all black in here, just chunk it out, but I can always do that as sort of a nuclear option as I explore this kind of more nuanced, gradated approach. Bamfart has cheered because Duck Helmet wanted to give you some love but didn't have the bits. It takes a village sometimes. It takes a village. It's all good, man. Don't feel bad. You don't feel no need to feel obligated. I think at this point we're just all having some fun here, kind of weaving our way through this process known as creating art. Okay. I just got to do the other lines that meet up. Easier said than done. Not quite at the same annoyance level as Spider-Man's webbing, good, but getting close, getting close. All right. Wallstrom CCG called me out on all this chunking it out talk. Yeah, I know. The DMV is at my house. uh, this camera's, it's shaky. I don't know if I like it up there. Let's see what happens if I bring it down here. Okay. Could still chunk it out. I say I still could. But it gets harder too. As I do more rendering. Because the rendering almost has a consciousness. And it's like, hey, you spent all this time rendering me. Don't you even think about taking a brush and wiping me out with one silly flick of the wrist. Okay. guess I can finish this shield here. Pizza Sovereign has resubscribed. Thank you very much. Sphincted has resubscribed for 5 months. Matang 1 came for the art but stayed for the dad jokes. Sadly, lacking today. Peas of Crap has resubscribed. I gotta say that very slowly. Programmer Art has resubscribed as well. Queen City Amusements has cheered his support of the drawing. Thank you. Dr. Chit has just woke up and joined. So I'm finding the core shadows that basically take, if you have a shape like this, you have a flat surface here and a flat surface there. The core shadow, the line, is here. If it's rounded, that core shadow is going to be where that form turns, where the light basically can't go around. So this light can't go around past here. Anything that's light on this side is from the light that's emanating from the other side of the figure. And already I feel like I'm going to white out big chunks of this, the lats here. I'm going to have a lightning bolt coming through here, dark clouds here, 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 and that lightning bolt will provide the light that you see here, but also allow me to kind of come in on that a bit. All right, I gotta finish the figure out what that's. Let's do it right there. Okay. All right, and then it's always kind of my favorite. Is the Medusa face. Okay. Okay. Now before I go in with the shadows or the clouds, I'm going to erase some of the thicker lines so they don't distract from what I'm trying to create here. They're great in helping kind of provide some of the form while we were waiting to ink those shapes. Okay. So, see you later, Kung Fu Cactus 190. All right. Things about the piece I know I'm going to change and white out, so let's figure out what we're going to do here. Got Curtis War has cheered. Truth Apocalypse has resubscribed. Iris Bear has subscribed as well. Okay. Okay. At least I got one part of what I wanted from the start, which is the completely black spear. Small consolation. Okay. So moving forward from that idea, I feel like I can go ahead and what happens if I start adding some more blacks in here? Do I have a dry brush? Not yet. Get to be a little dry brushy here. Dab a little more ink in there. What are we at? Andrea Saladino. Andrea Saladino has cheered. It's Andrea from Italy again. The one you made fun of regarding Batman. I don't remember. Hey, Andrea Saladino. Is that the same Andrea from Reggio Emilia? Is that you? That Onirk Carl Kirscher. Carl Crusher. Carl Crusher, that's what I call him. Carl Kerschel has hosted with one viewer. I think Carl Kerschel can speak a little German. He's of Egyptian heritage, but for some reason I thought he could speak a little German. But he's also a super talented artist. You guys should just be checking out his stuff as well. Destro X has subscribed. Curtis War has cheered. I drew some feet before. Oh, there'll be a lightning bolt, Brandon Luis. There's more to this. It's not even. I would say at this point it's only half done. 6:19. So I'm sort of pacing myself. Okay. I think the trick with hair is to ink the spots in between the hair. Don't ink the hair, I've said this before. Ink the shadows in between the clumps of hair. And you'll start seeing things kind of separate out. Mudfrost. You haven't missed much. The Art of TK is hosted. 22 viewers. Thank you very much, Art of TK. We got Darth Lori cheering support. And Z Hughes 69 has subscribed. Thank you very much. How do you learn? How do you learn what? How to draw pouches? What do you guys have a whole different the art of TK. Greetings from Germany. Guten Abend, meine Freunde. Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren aus Deutschland. Wie geht's ihr? Heute Nacht. Kuyamu. It's ending when I'm done with this piece, and then we. I don't know, where are we in terms of the giveaways for the question. Those of you who just kind of been tuning in, there's already a piece that's done. Actually, two pieces. There's a very quick, rough Mr. A, but there's a more involved question piece right here. I'll show it. Here's the question that's going to be given away. Greetings from Hungary. Got it. This is for everyone. Alla Leute. Fantastisch. Okay. Move this arm up a little bit. So much for chunking this leg out. I was going to be bold and make this whole leg black. This one here. But instead I'm just going to use... Let me see how this looks here. Okay. Okay. So as you guys have may surmised, this would be the silent auction. The mods will give you information on how to bid on this. The question is, as someone guessed, not guessed, as someone said, it is open to everyone in chat to win. We'll have the Mr. A as well, so there'll be two that will be open to everyone and anyone in chat. Okay, so a couple things we're going to do here first, though. We're going to pull out some highlights. Things that kind of got submerged by the tissue effect. Okay, and then we're going to establish that as well. Pull that shadow in there. Punch out that other faux fist that was down there. Give this shield a little more three-dimensionality. Kind of just popping edges there. Reflections in the metal. Okay. And now, need that lightning strike. I'm going to pop it right in here, I think. Right there. Okay. Because this is the area that's closest to the lightning strike, I feel like it can get a little more blown out than it is. And as someone suggested, having a little bit of rain kind of come off. Probably need an edge to the spear. I actually like this whiteout pen a lot. Sometimes the ones I use have a very blunt tip. This one actually has a very fine point on it, the metal tip. So maybe we'll get some nicer lines than I typically do. It's been kind of nice. Okay. I don't know if I should go all the way. What happens if I do that? I'll let that dry up there. Try a little bit. Kind of like okay. And then just a little bit of splatter, and we'll be done. Okay. And last. All right. Okay. Thank you for the bits, Queen City Amusements and Mutants Molded, My Morals, and Joshua Flowers. Joshua Flower, 1979. Sorry that the stream was a little stilted. It's been a while since I've been on, and I don't have all the normal things that I have sort of at my disposal. Okay. All right. So let me set up Nightbot. For those of you who are interested in winning, all you have to do is have said something in chat, but not yet. Hold on one second. You guys load up all your secondary accounts for those of you that indulge in that. All right, giveaway. So it's for, well, actually, let's do this one first. It's Mr. A. Mr. A is a lesser known creation of Steve Ditko. And then the question right here. So we'll give that away. But first, Mr. A. Mr. A. Mr. A is a real character. It is indeed. Okay, so we'll do Mr. A first. You guys just have to have typed something in chat in the last 5 minutes. Don't spam, you'll be locked out. Casual Hero has cheered. Been a while, Jim. Got the pick you sent. Hope all has been well. Great. Glad it got there. Charlie App 7, thanks for the cheers as well and your continued support. Golden Bear Bob 85 has subscribed. All right, here we go. Mr. A. We'll go to ECG Jedley. I don't even know who that is, but definitely a secondary account, I would think. ECG JEDLEY. Congrats. Please look for a Twitch. Look for a whisper soon. Okay, next couple days. I'll be asking you for your name and address so I can set it. Usually just ask for payment via PayPal for shipping. All right. Okay. Congrats. All right, so this, the question, also a Steve Ditko creation. Okay. Just have to type something into the chat window to be eligible. Okay, while we're waiting, I'm going to check Oh, so wait, Kira, have you guys? So there's no silent auction. Oh no, there's no whisper. You just did it through this system, correct? Hold on, I'll just send it through. If the mods could check the mod only channel. I think it looks like you guys. Okay. All right. Okay. Then that's the way we'll do it. Um, all right. The only thing is I see a bid here, which is way high. I assume, and it says test, Twitch username test. So I'm guessing that's not a real bid. All right, so here we go. For the question, here we go. I'm going to roll it. The winner is Roja Wolf. Rojas X Wolf. Congrats. I will send you a whisper asking for your mailing a name, an address, and based on that, I'll give you the shipping cost, and you can just PayPal me that, and I'll send this off. I have to dedicate the free ones to people. So, but anyway, congrats. Subscriber following since May 5th of this year. So, congratulations. All right, so this last piece, the Wonder Woman, sorry, it looks like, based on this new system that Kirihiko, I think Crispy actually set up, and the others help refine. Theoretically, it updates in real time. So based on that, I think the winning bid is 4162. So congrats on that. And now that we're done, we're going to go do a raid. It's customary for us to do a raid at the end. And we are... Okay. Do one of the mods have a place that we're going to go raid? Please let me know. Hold on. Getting that information. Thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank the mods, Ren Elephant and Kirihiko, for moderating this stream. It was a bit rough for me. I was just kind of I was just a little bit out of the groove, having been gone for a couple weeks. I want to thank all the regulars and the new people that have come in and help support the channel. It's good to see all of you guys back. And I apologize for all this whole contraption. But yes, Clayton Amora 56. Usually every Sunday I'm streaming. It's just I've been traveling a lot, so I was unable to stream last week. So let me put this back here. And we're going to load up the... oh, Priscilla Petrates is here. You guys should follow her. Right there. Follow Priscilla Petrates. She's an amazing artist. She's on Instagram, of course. I don't know if she's streaming here, but please check out her comic book work. It's amazing. Really, really great stuff. Did I... Clayton Amore 56. I pronounced it wrong. I don't know. Anyway, I still need to figure out where we're going to raid. Hold on one second, guys. Let me see. Okay, here's where we're going to go, guys. It's a friend of mine. So that's cool. I know this person. Usually I don't. So we're gonna go raid phenomenal creator, artist, writer, created mouse guard, David Peterson. Let's go check it out. Oh,
Wow, Jim Lee. You were right, Wai-Hi. Prepare to be surprised. I am surprised. That is a heck of a raid. Wowie wow. Jim Lee. My hair wasn't a mess. Hats off. Bronwyn,